I'm on City Council representing District 2. And Wes, you want to introduce yourself? Wait a minute.
Yes. Hi, Jessica. My name is Wesley Beller, and I represent District 4 as councilman.
Okay, so we have your application, Jessica, and my understanding is you want to join the Board of Health as an alternate.
Correct.
Okay, and just what do you know about the Board of Health?
So that's a great question. So I'm really looking to, get involved a lot more in the city. And just as a physician, I thought this was a great place to sort of get involved and put in the application. So to be honest, I haven't really been able to talk to anybody on it or do anything, but I saw the alternative position was available. So I'm really, like I said, even as an alternative, looking to kind of really listen in and hear more and understand what they do for the county.
Okay, and basically we don't have a Board of Health officially in Berks County. So this Board of Health is more at an advisory capacity rather than an operational Board of Health as they have in Montgomery and some of the other counties. So it's to be able to look at health issues and be able to provide advice and guidance to City Council and the administration as they're developing ordinances and such.
Great.
Hey, Jessica. My first question is, what skills do you have?
Sure. So I think one of the strongest, things I bring to the table is that I finished my residency here. I take care of this community. So, I really recognize over the last couple of years is, I could be the best doctor, but if we are not making, the appropriate inroads into discrepancies or access, my job is, it's really not something that can be achieved. So I think my skill set is really one of, I come from different backgrounds. I was actually in the military, practiced military medicine, came back here, grew up in the communities nearby. I think, again, I have a good understanding of what the population needs and in different areas we can make some progress, hopefully over the next couple of years.
To that extent, what do you think are some of the more outstanding health issues? Of course, knowing that COVID is the one that's really engaged us, obviously, for the last several years.
Yeah, obviously that's been the big thing, but what it continues to expose is just discrepancies in health literacy,
Right.
in technology connections. Those are the continued things, even like I said, as we work on managing diabetes and these basic things to find out that the pharmacy now closes on a weekend because of their staffing issues. Now my patients aren't getting medication. So, I think the big thing in the county is really access. But, again, as we continue things like telemedicine, really making sure that it's more equitable.
How are you feeling telemedicine is working? Because I work in drug and alcohol, and we've been using telemedicine for that delivery. Yeah,
again, simple thing. It's great for certain things. You can make adjustments and then check in on someone. Even when COVID, we couldn't bring people in, but just to look at someone, clearly I can tell how sick you look versus, what's reported to me. So I think it has so many valuable pieces, and we've called ambulances on people based on how they look, and they didn't think they were that bad. So, I think it's got a great future. But I do think, again, I think there's a discrepancy on the access piece, but also just, again, the full package of understanding, how it can be leveraged.
Are you aware? Go on, Wes.
I was going to say, what do you think is misleading to people out there about the health field right now in terms of the information and disinformation?
Yeah, I think it's tough. I think, there's a lot of distrust, and I don't think it had to be there. So I do think we have to work a lot harder to prove that we're sort of not in cahoots with the drug companies, and that we're, trying to be on your side here. So I think our job does feel a lot harder. But, again, there's a technique to it. There's a way to approach someone where you're not coming off strong and you're building that relationship. And I don't think we don't really have those conversations in medical school, really how to kind of work with the patient versus these are the guidelines started today. So I think, again, my technique and my approach is a lot of, you tell me what you think this is, you tell me why you're on this medicine, and let's work together. So I think, unfortunately, we don't have maybe enough of that, or the understanding that you can be partners. I think maybe that's a disconnect.
Yeah, that's a very good point. People don't always understand. I think they're fearful sometimes of their physicians.
Yep, I think so.
Yeah, now had been discussion and probably was really escalated with the COVID pandemic about the need for Berks County to have a Board of Health. Are you aware of that or any thoughts on that?
I've definitely heard that, and I can say that I work with Dr. Powell, the ID chief, who's done a lot of advising for the county, and again, this really brought to head. It was nice to have her and kind of have St. Joe's fill in, but what sort of official capacity does someone have to advise you? So I think the question would be again like how robust it can really be, or
Right.
what the what the mission would be, so to speak. And so I again, I think it would definitely have a role in the county. I've heard things, I'm not sure how close it is to getting there.
Yeah, from what my understanding is, it's just being researched at this point, but I
Yeah.
don't know how close it is.
Yeah,
There's a lot of pros and cons.
To be such a large county, I mean, and have a good sized city, when we talk about cities in the state of Pennsylvania, I mean, I could definitely see how it would fit in.
Exactly. Do you have any other questions, Wes?
No, that's all the questions I have.
Yeah, I have to let you know what you're doing is very near and dear to my heart because I work
Huh.
from a public health model in the work to do a lot of prevention, especially around the opioid crisis right now. So it's very interesting how I've seen services be reformed to be more responsive to what the
Yeah.
people need.
Yeah, no, I think you just nailed it, to be responsive to what the people need. I think that's the key.
I'm just curious too. I saw your address. Sounds really familiar to me.
It's behind the hospital. It's like in that area.
It's near where Dr. Kimball used to live. That's why it sounded familiar.
Is it?
to me.
Okay.
Okay.
So I know his name, but
Yeah,
yes, he's not one of my
Dr.
neighbors.
Yeah, and Dan.
Okay.
Now they moved out, and I just wondered, I have
okay.
to check. I have to circle around and see where they actually left. I know it was on Orchard Road though. So
Oh, okay. Yes, no, I know his name well.
okay, great.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so I guess the one question we didn't ask you is, would you be available the first Tuesday of every month at 4 to attend meetings?
I will make myself, and you said it's 4?
Yeah.
Okay, that is much better. I think I saw 2 o'clock somewhere, and I thought that was going to be a challenge. So
Is
4
that
is
correct, Shelley? It's 4 o'clock?
Yeah, it's 4 o'clock. It's actually every other month. And so the next
Okay.
meeting we have is in June.
Okay.
So then it's, every second month, the first
Correct.
Tuesday at 4. And I send reminders and
Okay.
good stuff out ahead of time.
Great. No, I can definitely make myself available.
Okay, so the process that we follow then is council needs to vote on any appointment of a member or an alternate. So you'll be notified then through Shelley when, the appointment is made. We'll probably be voting on it this Monday.
Okay.
Okay, and then you'll be invited to attend the next meeting, get
Perfect.
sworn in, and everything else needs to happen.
Awesome. Great.
And I apologize for my voice. It's not doing too well today.
It's allergy season. That's
Oh,
what it is.
exactly. This is what it is. Every time I go outside,
I know.
really, yeah.
Well, don't worry. The rain's coming through. It'll wash it away. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. So I'll feel really great by tomorrow.
You'll feel great.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Well, great. Well, thank you for interviewing me.
Okay. You take care.
You
Nice
guys as
meeting
well. You as well. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I wasn't sure when I was going to sneeze, and I didn't want to be disrespectful.
Jeff Darlington may be having connection problems. I saw him trying to come into the meeting and now he has disconnected. So we'll wait for him for a few moments.
Yeah, I don't know whether the cable's unstable or not because of the storm.
In the meantime, the 4:30 just popped in. So if we want to, oh, wait, there's Jeff. Let me see if I can get him in again.
Okay.
There he is. Jeff is connecting.
Hello there, Jeff.
Hi, Shelley.
It's just Marcia.
Oh, hi, Marcia. How are you?
Pretty good. Dennis, we have one more person to interview before we interview you. So if you could just hang in with us, you're
No
welcome to
problem.
stay on the call.
No problem. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay, I will mute myself until you're ready for me.
Okay, great. Just let me. And Jeff, you're reapplying to remain on the Board of Ethics.
That is correct.
Okay, can you just give us some background why you want to stay on, what your thoughts are about how the board's functioning?
Well, Marshall, I'm trying to recall how long I've been on the board. I'm thinking at least 10, 12, say 14 years. I've enjoyed, working with the ethics board and the people that have been members of the ethics board. I think we play a very important role within the government. Thankfully, we haven't had that many cases brought before us, that actually go to the hearing phase. But I think that it's the charter and the ethics board within the charter, I think, does a valuable job for the community as well as the employees of the city of Reading.
Okay. And Wes, I'm going to ask you to take over the questioning because I have a little bit of a cough coming in.
Okay, that's fine. Hey, Jeff, this is Councilman Wesley Butler, representing District 4. My first question is, what skills do you have or that contributed to the board in your 14-year tenure?
Councilman Wesley, what skills I bring, I think that's probably a question. I've lived in the city practically all my entire life outside of college. I care sincerely about the city of Reading, the schools, the people. I think that the employees, the residents of the city need to have faith in our city government. And as far as the skills that I bring, I've been part of a business in the Reading area. I've raised 3 children within the city. And as I said, I care deeply. As far as skills go, I have a pretty good idea in terms of, the city itself, the issues that we face. From a business standpoint, we've I think had a very successful run with our business. So anyway,
Okay.
hopefully that answers your question, Councilman.
Yeah, it does. My second question is, do you think there is any ethic law or anything in the charter that needs to be changed that you've seen throughout your 14 years?
Well, I'm really not a student of the charter, Councilman Butler. My focus has been with the ethics and the ethics board. I think there's one thing that we've tried to do over the years is to educate the city employees, and I think that's something that we need to do again, simply because of what has transpired over the last several years with the COVID and the issues with employees being away from the administration building. So I think that's probably one of the most important elements, is the education and the awareness that the city employees should have about the ethics board and what it stands for, as well as all members of the city itself to be aware that if there's an issue that they feel should come to the forefront, that there is a body that will investigate and hopefully come to a finder of fact, so that again there is a confidence level that's there.
Okay, and my last question is, you had mentioned you guys don't get too many cases on the board. And so I would ask, if you're not getting cases, what else do you guys speak about in the meetings then? Because I just got on council, so this is
Sure.
kind of new to me. If you could tell me, please.
Yeah, well, as I said, the number of meetings, the less meetings we have, I think that's probably a good thing, Councilman. In that the types of issues that may come before us may have to do with gifts that certain employees of the city and or council may need to come to us to ask if that is appropriate or not, based on the ethics code. If there's any issues that an employee has in terms of what may be conflict of interest, fraudulent activity, statements of financial interest, those kinds of things. But yeah, recently it's just been mainly some questions in terms of gifts that, whether they can be received or should not be received and returned. Shelley would probably know better than I think we probably had maybe 3 meetings last year. So again, when we're called upon, we're very active.
Jeff, to
Well,
follow up on it. Oh, okay, Wes, go on. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say to thank him for his
Right.
tenure at the position.
It's been my pleasure.
Yeah, and we appreciate the training that you do, but because there's such a transition in administrations and staff, I think sometimes people all don't understand. Do you give advisory opinions regarding whether there may be an ethics violation?
Yeah, the process, Marcia, it's a good question. If there is an issue that comes before us, there is a process that's followed, and usually there is an attorney who does the investigation of the claim, and then whether it should proceed is based mainly on that attorney's recommendation. It then comes before us, and our solicitor is Ed Stock and the committee, and then we hear whether it is to proceed or not. But that's typically the process.
And have you ever done training to the boards, authority, or commission members regarding ethics considerations?
Marcia, the last training we had was several years ago, and I believe that was to all city employees.
Yeah.
They members of council, the administration, employees.
Right.
And I believe that's something that we had talked about at one of our last meetings, and how we can move forward with another training schedule. But it is valuable. It really is, because most importantly, the city employees have to be aware of issues. And they must know that there's a voice, that their voice can be heard. And that also applies to the citizenry of Reading as well.
Yeah. And where I see the gap, as when people are volunteering to be boards, authorities, and commissions, they may be oriented to that specific board, but they may not have overall ethics training to understand how that applies to how they make decisions in their respective roles. So I'm going to throw that back to council for discussion to come back to you folks. Okay.
Yeah, that would be great. We'd I know that it's a coordinated effort between council and the HR department and us. So however we can aid and assist, I think it would be certainly a good idea, as I said, since we've been away from each other for so long.
Exactly. And by the way, Shelley did check into how long you served. You have 1 year up on me as far as serving in the city.
Yeah.
So,
Is that right?
yeah, it's, what was it, 21 years, Shelley, or? So thank you for your longevity and sticking with us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's the least I can do.
Do you have any questions for us at all?
No, I don't. I just, from what I read in the paper, you're busy trying to fill some very important positions. So
Right.
good luck with that. And I know it's a
Thank you.
difficult position, but that's going to be very important. Anyway, no other questions.
Okay, so you know the process where you're recommended to be voted on by council, and then you'll receive notification by Shelley or Linda for what you need to do to take your oath again.
Very good.
All righty.
All
Thanks
right.
a lot.
Nice to hear you. Nice to see you again.
Take care.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Councilman, nice to see you.
I see you as well. Take care.
Bye.
Okay, so Dennis, you're the last, and save the best for last, right?
I guess.
Yeah, so you're looking at being on the, wait a minute, Fire Appeal Board? Let me see if I get this right.
That's correct.
Fire and Building Code of Appeals. Okay. So, and I apologize. This hasn't been my best day to be on top of things here. Okay, so this is new for you. So what do you know about the
It's actually not new for me. I am currently not a seated member of the Board of Appeals, but I
Okay.
was on the Board of Appeals. I believe I was originally appointed in 2006 during
Okay.
Mayor McMahon's tenure.
Okay.
And I served 2 full terms. And at the expiration of my last term, I had said, if you can find someone else, that would be great. Well, there was a shortage of people on the board. So they asked me if I would continue to serve until they found a replacement. So I was never really officially reappointed, but I've served
Okay.
continuously over the past, I believe my term expired in December 31st, 2017. Might have been 2018.
So this is
But I've
really
served-
housekeeping more or less to get you.
Right. So it got to the point where we're not finding replacements. And it doesn't really consume a lot of time. So I said, well, you know what? If I'm going to be doing it, it might as well be official. I might as well be on the board. So I made the application to join the board again.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and I'm going to bounce it back to Wes, if you don't mind, Wes.
Yes. My first question is, what skills do you have?
I am a professional engineer, and I design, or my work or my specialty is I work on HVAC plumbing and utility systems. So I apply the building code every day. I'm very familiar with the building code. I know what the updates are when they come out. And I will say I provide a good balance because there are a couple architects on the board. So I bring in some perspective from mechanical and trades that architectural people don't. But yes, I've been a licensed professional engineer since 2002.
Marcia, do you want to come in or?
Whoops.
Yeah.
I'm not muted anymore. Okay. Excuse me. But what do you think are some of your greatest concerns? I know you don't have that many meetings, but what are the things you see that might be problematic for the city as far as codes and people appealing?
Most of the time when there's an appeal, it's because people haven't either read the code or just aren't familiar with the code, or in some cases aren't aware of.
Are you freeze up?
Yep, I think you froze up. Just give him a second or so. This is not a good day for cable, I don't think.
Yeah. Thunder, lightning, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
Interference.
Shelley, could you text him just to let him know maybe he needs to go in and come back, or go out and come back in again?
Is being recorded.
Oh, okay. I think I got dropped out there for a little while. My internet went down. So I'm able to reconnect.
That's what we
But,
love about technology. Go on.
But what happens is most of the time people are not aware that there may be this component of the code that's a little more restrictive than what's printed in the international codes. That, and then there are just times, sometimes we've actually had issues where our own code enforcement's been a little overzealous in the way they've interpreted the code. So it's a real good checks and balance. It's a good place for somebody who doesn't think they were fairly treated to actually get their word heard, and maybe even have it explained to them why they were fairly treated. So.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's a good check and balance, and for people to be able to present their point of view, to be educated and understand the codes. So I appreciate someone from your expertise taking the time to continue to serve. I think we have some people that are like lifetimers here on some of our boards, authorities, and commissions, and we just always appreciate the work you give to the city.
It's one way for me to give back. I was born and raised in the city, and the city made me, my childhood in the city made me kind of who I am. Unfortunately, I don't live in the city, but I live just outside the city, but it's a good opportunity for me to give back.
Great, thank you. Wes, do you have any other questions?
Yes. What made you interested in this board when you first asked to be a part of it?
Mayor McMahon, I actually had worked with him or for him at NTech Engineering. When he asked me, again, I was working on, I've done a lot of work over the years with a company called DesignWorks Architects, who did a lot of work for nonprofits in the city. So I've donated a lot of mechanical engineering design services, and it just became an extension of that. When I was asked to join, it was a way for me to help serve the city and the community and the people of the city of Reading. So just another opportunity to serve.
Worked with Bill Vitale at some stages.
Yes,
there. Okay.
correct.
Great. So I think a lot of it I find fascinating with this whole topic, because our housing stock is so old, and when it was built, there weren't a lot of requirements that you have to now go back and retrofit everything so that it meets the current standards. And I know it must be frustrating for people because they come from other communities where they might not have the same standards, but in the long run, I think it protects the safety of the city. I think we might have gotten another frozen person. Shelley, do you want to text him? I think we're pretty well, Wes, are you pretty well done with the interview?
Yeah, I didn't have any more questions.
Okay. Just to thank him and let him know that we will be contacting him about his official appointment.
Will do.
Thank you.
All right. See you guys.
See you later.
Okay, I'm back. I'm back.
Okay.
Yes.
So we were
Comcast-
just going to conclude the interview, Dennis, unless you have any other questions for us.
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay, well, thank you again for serving.
Okay,
Yes,
well, you're
thank you.
welcome. Oh, you're welcome.
Okay,
Have a
take
good
care.
evening.
You too. Bye-bye.